Human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, is a blood-borne pathogen, and mosquitoes survive by drinking human blood. We know that sharing hypodermic needles is a primary transmission route for the virus, so it makes perfect logical sense to look at a mosquito and see a tiny flying syringe. During the height of the epidemic in the 1980s, the fear of insect transmission was incredibly pervasive. The U.S. government actually mailed brochures to millions of households specifically to address the public's questions about how the disease spread. Here is the paradox. Mosquitoes are the deadliest animals on Earth, spreading blood-borne diseases like malaria and dengue to hundreds of millions of people every year. Yet, there has never been a single recorded case of a mosquito transmitting HIV. Researchers at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and other global health bodies took this concern seriously. They investigated thousands of cases and heavily scrutinized the potential for insect vectors. To understand why the virus stops at the mosquito, we have to look past human intuition and examine the microscopic mechanics of a bite. A hypodermic needle is a simple mechanism. It is a single, hollow tube where blood enters and exits the exact same chamber, making it highly effective at transferring remnants of blood from one person to the next. A mosquito's feeding anatomy is complex. The proboscis is an intricate structure of 6 distinct mouthparts. 2 form separate tubes. The first acts entirely as a vacuum, sucking blood upward into the insect's stomach. The isolated second tube flows downward, injecting saliva as an anticoagulant. Because this plumbing system separates the 2 fluids, the flow is strictly unidirectional. Blood goes up one tube and saliva goes down another. Any HIV-positive blood previously ingested by a mosquito is never flushed into the next person bitten. That raises a separate problem. Could the virus survive inside the mosquito, migrate over, and hitch a ride down that saliva tube? For biological transmission, a pathogen must survive the insect's stomach, multiply, and travel to the salivary glands, like malaria does. But HIV operates differently. To reproduce, it requires human T cells with unique CD4 receptors to bind and copy itself. Insects lack these receptors. Without a way to latch on and replicate, the virus is stranded. Inside the gut, the mosquito's digestive enzymes treat the stranded HIV particles exactly like any other protein. Within 1 to 2 days of ingestion, the virus is completely digested and destroyed. A mosquito does not act as an incubator for the virus. Evolutionarily speaking, the insect's stomach is a biological dead end. There is one final edge case researchers had to consider: mechanical transfer. What happens if a mosquito gets swatted away mid-bite and immediately lands on a second person with wet blood still on the outside of its microscopic mouthparts? The amount of blood left on a mosquito's exterior is microscopically small, roughly 1/100,000th of a milliliter. Compared to other blood-borne diseases, HIV circulates at very low levels in human blood. Often, an infected individual will have undetectable levels of the virus, and even when detectable, the concentration is sparse. This chart compares the viral units in that tiny fraction of blood against the minimum threshold required to cause a human infection. The volume falls massively short. To transfer a single infectious unit, it would require 10 million simultaneous interrupted mosquito bites. Mechanical transmission fails on pure math. Whether through anatomy, biology, or sheer volume, the flying syringe concept simply breaks down. The scientific consensus on this is absolute. Because of their specialized anatomy, their incompatible biology, and the mathematics of viral loads, mosquitoes do not transmit HIV. In the past, controlling outbreaks of malaria or yellow fever meant spraying neighborhoods and managing standing water. But deploying environmental mosquito abatement strategies does absolutely nothing to stop the spread of HIV. Putting the mosquito myth to rest allows public health resources to be directed where they matter, toward actual human-to-human vectors. It allows communities to focus on needle exchange programs, medical treatment, and safe sex education. Understanding the science also strips away a layer of unnecessary fear. It dismantles the stigma that simply being outdoors or living near infected individuals in a mosquito-heavy area puts you at risk. We do not need to fear the natural environment. We protect our communities through facts, focused education, and modern medicine.